Good evening. My name is Tammy. I'm the president of Fun and Adventure at Singles Travel International. And tonight I'm in Greece because I'm meeting with our travelers from our Isle of Crete Rendezvous vacation, which is coming up in less than 2 weeks. And we've just gotten to meet each other and understand what we're looking forward to. And now I'm going to show them how to prepare for the final steps. One of the things that we do here at Singles Travel International is try to put together all the details, so all you have to do is show up and have a great time. So I'm going to start with sharing my screen here. And when you are on a vacation with us and you get to 21 days before departure, we send out an email that's called your final vacation details and meetup information. And then we also publish that document on the website. So I went to the Isle of Crete Rendezvous page, and I'm going down on the left nav bar. There's a button that appears that's not there until the 21-day mark, and it's called Your Travel Documents. So you would click on that, and the document that pops up is a PDF, and it's quite long. In this case, it's a 16-page document. We put what you need to do in a checklist format on the very first page. So that is going to be your target location. And then of course we break all of these steps down in the ensuing pages so that you can really understand what you need to do to get ready. So in this case, and we're delighted to say that we're in June of 2022, and so a lot of the travel requirements have actually been waived and minimized. And so now traveling to Greece and many other countries in the world are much less burdensome. So first of all, for any international departure, you're going to need a passport. And one of the things that I think is kind of it's a hidden piece of information, unless you're very well traveled. Some people think that their passport is good until the day it expires. But in truth, most countries want you to have at least 3 or 6 months of validity to your passport after you're scheduled to come home. That is because most countries want you to go home. They don't want you to stay in their country unsupported. So in this case, just make sure, if you haven't done it already, that your passport has a validity of at least 6 months from the day that you would be returning, which would be the middle of July in this case. The next thing that you're going to want to have, a travel insurance certificate. Now, we definitely recommend insurance for all of our vacations. Some of them are mandatory. For Greece, it's not mandatory. I'm going to just tell you all that in the last 2 years, I'm already a proponent of insurance. I have it myself. I buy it every single time. And after the last 2 years in the pandemic, I have helped numerous travelers with all kinds of challenges that they encountered that were normal travel challenges, but in this case, we had additional challenges. And of course, I myself took advantage and was able to cash in on my certificate or my travel insurance policy 3 times already in the last 6 to 8 months in travel. So I strongly recommend it. And we only use Travel Guard. I have some great reasons for that. They pay immediately if you cancel for a covered reason within 30 days, providing you give them the paperwork. And they're just one of the most reputable companies. And they often cover things that necessarily weren't covered. I have to talk about a story after 9/11 when there was no such thing as a paragraph for terrorism inside the insurance certificates. And the owner of that company at the time honored all of the travelers and helped them out. So after that time, I don't even look at any other insurance company. Now, you're welcome to use any company you would like. We're not making it mandatory to purchase it with us. I just strongly recommend it. The next thing is to bring your original COVID-19 vaccine certificate. Since we published this, Greece has lessened some of the requirements. However, you never know when some location, some site, some restaurant Some museum may ask you for proof of your certificate. Most of us have it on our phone. We've taken a picture of it, which is a great idea, or we have a QR version of it. But just very good idea to bring the original one for just another few months until we start to see the very end of all the requirements for traveling in the pandemic. Right now, there are no requirements for additional dosages. So if you've got your first dose, and then if you've done your boosters, that's great. But according to the Greek government, they had previously wanted everybody to at least have the one Johnson & Johnson or the 2 vaccines. Besides that, you're okay. Now, the fourth thing, number 4, is called the passenger locator form. That is a requirement. Oh, optional but recommended, it says here. So I bear with me on that one. That is going to be to notify the Greek government of your arrival date, your arrival time, what flights you're coming in on, and then where you're going to be staying. So it looks like that's now optional, and if they do require it from you when you get there, they will have you fill that out. But that looks like that's also recently changed. On the number 5, it's our document, which is called the Fit and Willing to Travel Commitment. Everybody filled that out, so I won't belabor that. And that was our way to collect your flight information and to find out what you're looking forward to in the trip, and also just a commitment that you agree to honor the local restrictions for travel during the pandemic and to be respectful to your fellow travel companions. Number 6 is a VIP assistance package. Whenever you're feeling challenged by all of the things that you need to do to get ready for any of your vacations, you have access to our VIP assistance package. We would actually charge you a small fee, and then we take care of all the paperwork for you. And then finally, to get ready for your event or your trip is to be here tonight and to meet your fellow companions and to talk about what you need to get ready for the trip. So the rest of the document is just kind of going into detail what I just said. So I won't bother going over that again, with links for you to complete forms, etc. And then I'm going to scoot down to the next section, which is our socializing section. So we're a singles vacation company. We've been doing vacations for singles over 50 for 30 years. Can't believe it. And we have all the social media outlets, but I would absolutely encourage you to get on to Facebook and follow us at facebook.com/singles travel international. And also follow us on Instagram. And when you're on the vacation and you're posting pictures, we'd love if you would put the hashtag singles travel international. Then that way all of your friends at home and our members can see you guys on the road. We have a new merch store. So if you are interested in purchasing some items from, let me see if I have it right here. It's at the top of all of our pages. You just click on the store, and you can order all kinds of items for your vacations. So we have t-shirts and hats, the backpacks, the luggage, all kinds of really cool things with our logo. So some destinations I think are more in need of special gear, but it's always great to have a little beach bag or some kind of a polo shirt. We've got hoodies, you name it, we've got it here at the merch store. And if you're a premium member, you get $5 off every single item that you ever purchase. And the code would come into your email box. Only if you're a premium member, you'll have access to that code. So now I'm going to go back to the document here, and here's all of our social media tags and URLs, so you can access those. And then we go down to page 5 and we talk about the COVID-19 safety protocols. Again, a lot of these things have been lifted. We're not sending the mask to you this time because you no longer are required to do the mask. You don't even have to wear them on international flights anymore. So we won't be sending that to you. Just to know that I think most hotels are continuing their cleaning protocols and sanitizing. That's probably something that we'll always have now as a regular routine, and I think it's great. So keep your eyes out for that. Again, a lot of this has been lifted, so not.
I do wear a mask whenever I'm inside because I am a COVID virgin and have not had it. So
Sure.
I'm trying to not get it.
Total pro-choice, right? So
Yep.
what's mandatory, and you'll see other people wearing that for sure.
Yep. But I don't want anybody to judge me for wearing a mask. So.
Yeah, and that's why they all signed the fit and willing to travel document with us. And if you remember signing and reading that, the crux of that was respect. Everybody is coming from a different perspective. I mean, from an individual, 7.5 billion people on this planet, and we each viewed the pandemic in our own personal way. So we hope that anybody here who's traveling, they all signed it, everybody read it. Guys, we really must be respectful of each and every person who's on the trip and let them choose for themselves. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. I know I muted everybody, so not to worry, but that was the commitment, and we put that in place in May of 2020. We've been operating trips throughout the pandemic, and we were concerned for exactly that reason. We thought that people might be at odds with each other in the decisions that we've made, and so we created the fit and willing to travel commitment so that we would know that when we were taking out a group of people, number one, they had been advised that that was the perspective and the agenda that we were looking for, that people would be respectful of each other. But secondly, that if that didn't happen, that we would remove you from a program without any additional compensation. So there is a consequence. So just remind yourself of that. But again, in all of the trips that we've done in 2 years, we never had to remove a single person, which is super cool because that just tells us that our membership is made up of people who are enthusiastic travelers, they're savvy, they're smart people, you know, and they respect one another. So I'm pretty confident that you'll be totally accepted, at least within our group. And I can't speak for the population of Greece. I don't know how they'll be, but Vicky's over there right now, and I know she's been living there for a month, and she's reporting really great feedback from her experience there. So I'm pretty confident that you will be in good shape. Please report anything that doesn't happen that way. Airline tickets, we'll get to that in a minute. So I do have everybody's flight schedule, even though this letter didn't have all the schedules. We now have them. I'm going to show you the document over here. So we submitted this to the tour operator. Can you guys see the spreadsheet with the flights? Yes. Can you guys see the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay, super. You sometimes when you switch screens on Zoom, it doesn't do it. So, okay, so we just let that you know we're aware. These are everybody's flights. We gave them to the hotelier at the Mistral, and they will be picking up everybody according to these times. And in, you know, probably 12 years that we've been working with them, they've never missed a beat. So you should be fine. I don't anticipate any trouble, but in the letter, we do have the contact information, which is here in, that's the Hotel Placa. I'm just going to go down. So here is the hotel information for the Mistral. There's a hotel number and a mobile number. And just to know that when because your phones are in the US, if you turn on your cellular service, which I recommend, you're still, even though you're in Greece, it's like calling from the US. So you have to dial 011 and then 30 for the country and then the number. Okay, so that's if you have a challenge. Now, if you have any problems whatsoever when you're traveling on the way, my cell phone number is in this letter, and I'm going to go back up to the top. Pardon my scrolling. It should be up here at the top. Okay, where is it? I will find it for you guys, and you're welcome. So I'm going to scroll down again, and it's probably going to be here. It is paragraph that says emergency contact for travel days. Here's my number. So everybody in the world has my number. You can call or text me any time of the night or day. The day, if you're the day you're traveling. If it's before the day you're traveling, just use our regular number. It's toll free from almost anywhere in the world. And press 0 for the first available person. We're all here on 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. But if it's a Friday night or it's a Saturday, or you're all traveling on Tuesday, so our regular number should be fine. But let's say Tuesday night, or Monday night, you're flying over there and it's after hours, just call my cell phone or text and put your name in the text. Then that way I can assist you. So if we go back down a little bit here, if your bags get lost, maybe some of you have this experience, but absolutely, depending on, now see, most of you guys did separate tickets between the US and Europe, and then you might have done a separate ticket between Athens and Crete. So if, let's say you did a separate ticket and you get to Athens and you go to pick up your bag and it's not there, and you tell them, oh, I'm going to Crete, please do your lost luggage report at the Athens airport, because if you have a separate ticket and you don't put your report in, then both carriers play a little game of, well, whose responsibility is it? So I have a long time experience, worked for the airlines, worked in baggage service. So the last point of arrival, if your bag is not there, that's where you want to make your report. If you did your ticket all on one ticket, you bought one ticket from a company and they did your ticket all the way from your home city all the way to Crete, then you can make your claim in Crete. But if it was only to Athens and then you bought a separate little ticket like Sky Express, or some of you guys did, then you should make your claim in Athens with your major carrier. Even if they tell you, oh, you're going on to Crete, you have to do it there. Just say, nope, I'm going to do it here because I have a separate ticket. So trust me on that one. You'll get much more action quicker by doing it that way and avoid a headache later on.
So Tammy, even if it's the same airlines that you're flying,
Well, no, I'm
Crete.
saying if it's, so I don't imagine that anybody's on the same airline all the way from the USA to Crete.
No, but I'm flying, because we're on the other trip, we're flying to Athens. And then from Athens to Crete, that's going to be the same airlines.
Right, but you're doing it on separate days or the same day?
Separate days, because we're spending the night in Athens, flying to Athens, spending the night, and then going to Crete. Okay.
Right. So you would arrive in Athens, and if your bags aren't there, you would claim it there. So
Okay.
I'm talking about people who are connecting, who bought separate tickets. So if you're not staying in Athens and you bought, separate tickets, then your Athens stop is your last destination on that ticket. You see the difference?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so it's a good question though. So also, when you get to the hotel in Crete, if your bag is lost, please let them know immediately and they will help you recover the bag. Again, if you have insurance, keep all your receipts. Depending on your policy, you might be entitled to anywhere from $150 to $250 a day to recover items that are necessary, but you must have your receipts to submit with your claim in order to get reimbursed. So we went over the flight information. So you're not getting picked up in Athens, but you will get picked up in Crete. That's already included in your package. And some of you are coming in and staying in Athens on our package at the Hotel Plaka. So I see Arlene, Julie, and Rebecca are coming in, and you're going to be in on the 4th of July, leaving on the 5th. We have your confirmation numbers here. And when you get to the airport in Athens, the quickest and easiest is a taxi. And it's really easy when you come out of the airport, just like every other airport, they do have a taxi queue. So you just walk out, you find the head of the line, take this piece of paper. I would take a picture of this right here, because not all the taxi drivers in Athens or in Greece for that matter speak English. So you want to, and remember they have their own alphabet, right? So I would absolutely take a picture of this data right here and show it to them so that they know exactly where they're going to take you.
Tammy, I booked it on that company you sent us, and it was so easy.
Okay, super, super duper. That's great. But if you didn't do that, then just, take a taxi, or some people want to take the train. There's also a train station in the airport, but you're going to have to schlep your bags, and it's a long distance. That's a 7 euro, 7 to 10 euros, something like that. So depending on traffic, whenever you come in, Athens is a huge city. It's a big metropolis. So it could be that your ride is 45 minutes. It could be an hour. It's about 30 kilometers. So it's really not that far, but it's always going to depend on traffic. And then we recommended the next day to leave later in the afternoon, because if you're only going for a day, that by the time you get in and get settled and have dinner that night, then at least the next morning you have some time to enjoy Athens a little bit if you haven't been there. So that's why we were recommending the later flight. But regardless of what time you're leaving, check with your concierge and double check with them about what time, because here we had recommended that you leave on a 5 o'clock flight, and then you would leave your hotel at 2:30 in order to be at the airport by 3:30 to check in for your 5 o'clock flight, because it's internal to Greece. You don't need to check in 2 to 3 hours beforehand. 1 hour is enough. But double check with your concierge that day. You never know if there's like a marathon going on or some kind of a parade. And so you're really going to want to get that latest information before you book your taxi to head back. So that's your pre-tour stay. And then once you get into Crete, again, here's your basic information. Here's what's included. Everybody's reservation is here. You don't need a reservation number. And I'm very excited for you all, because this is one of my top 5 places in the world for singles. I think this property is amazing. Everybody's going to be single. It's family run. They have an organic garden. They have an olive grove. If it's been a good season, they're going to give every one of you guys a bottle of Cretan olive oil to come home with, which is the best, according to them anyway, but I think it's quite delicious. There's some really cool things while you're there to take advantage of, and that's the itinerary part. So when everybody arrives there on Tuesday night, you'll come in, no matter what time you're coming in, you're going to have dinner. And even if you come in at like 6:50, I think one of you is coming a little bit later, don't worry. You'll come in, it'll be dinner time. You'll come into the hotel, come into the dining room, meet the other guests, have dinner. And then the next morning, there'll be breakfast every morning, of course, beautiful, fresh made, yogurts and eggs right from the farm. I mean, it's really, if you're a foodie, or if you're into, fresh organic foods, you're going to really absolutely love it. If you're not, you won't. I'm only kidding. Of course you're going to, but there's anything weird there. The feta cheese is amazing. The tomatoes are garden tomatoes. Everything is delicious. If you have any dietary restrictions, you already told us and we let them know. They're very accommodating. So at the welcome meeting on Wednesday morning, the owner or his brother does an orientation, and they just give you some general historic and local information. And then they go over all the excursions. Now we've included some excursions that are just exclusive to our members. And the first one is going to be on Thursday. What's included is a visit to Falasana Beach, and Svenari fish lunch, which Svenari is their lobster. So it's not like a big old Boston lobster, but it's like a spiny lobster. And this is one of my favorite activities. You're going to go to the beach for a little bit. There's a little ruin there if you are interested. They have chairs, they have a little snack shop. Then when you go for the lunch, you're actually going to go to a private home. They're going to set up a table on the beach, and their son is a world-class spear fisherman who will go into the ocean that morning and spear your fish for lunch. So it doesn't get any fresher than that. And it's just a really cool, unique experience in my estimation. Then you have a couple of other options here. I'm going to show you a list that we've made that makes it a little bit easier to see day by day, but these are some of the recommendations. And then we also are including Elafonisi Beach, which is a pink sand beach with a picnic lunch and a stop at the village of Elos on the way back for goat's milk ice cream. Delicious and fun. And so you guys have 2 excursions included. None of the excursions need to be booked in advance. They typically run 1 a day. So I'm going to show you this list on page 11. So if you want to do a little planning in advance, you have an idea of what are they running on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They've got Gramvusa, that's another beach. Every day they've got the historical Rethymno tour, but I couldn't get that out. So every day there's a tour to choose from. Again, we've included Elafonisi on Mondays and Falasana on Thursday. So if you get there on Tuesday night, you have Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So really 3 days to choose something. So I was talking about the Samaria Gorge. I think for you, David, that's going to be an awesome one. They take you, when I gave a little bit of a description, but you start off in a pine-filled forest about 1,500 feet above sea level, and you make your way down, and the terrain changes. They become bigger boulders, and then it gets sunny, and it's a fun challenge. Bring your hiking boots if you're planning to do that. The only thing I felt the next day was my shins, right? So because you're going downhill the whole time, so that was one of the consequences. I heard somebody say they want to go scuba diving. So great. Let them know that day on Wednesday morning when they do the briefing that you're interested in scuba diving. They'll set it up for you. The range and the price has to do with the number of dives and how many other divers are there. So maybe you make your selection on the day to dive when there are other people, so you can split the cost for the boat. Horseback riding, cycling. They can bring a bike anytime. Beautiful way to just look at some of the countryside. I know when I was there, it was probably 8 years ago already, but I did a bike ride, and I just remember riding through the hills. These are small hills, right? Not really big, but I smelled the oranges. So there were orange groves around me. It's just, everything is so fresh. I mean, I know that most people, when they go to Crete, they don't want to come back. So I hope you both, or all of you, have the same experience and you just enjoy it that much. Santorini is another favorite. So that one is on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And so probably Saturday would be the earmarked date for you. And it's all day. So the thing about it, if you go on Saturday, that's great because you can sleep in on Sunday, because you're going to have to get up really, I'm guesstimating about like 5 in the morning, because you have to take a transfer over to the ferry, and then it's an all-day tour, and then they have a lot of fun on the way home on the ferry. They usually serve something to drink, but you may not get home till maybe 10 o'clock at night. So again, if you've always dreamed of doing Santorini, absolutely do it. And be prepared for that all day,
Tammy, how many people can stay at the resort?
They have 31 rooms.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then it looks like we have a post tour. A couple of you guys, Jules and Rebecca, you're staying at Placa at the end. So there's your reservation number there. And of course, there's that little tax that you guys have to pay at the site. that we can't collect for up front. So you're not surprised about that. Hey, here's a cool thing. The euro is very close to the US dollar. So you guys picked such, I mean, who knew? It's crystal ball, but you picked a good time because all of the restrictions are released, and the euro is like 1.10, which is very close to the dollar. So that's the lowest it's been in, I'm going to say maybe 15, 16 years. So fantastic, exciting. Your money's going to go a long way. Just some general information for you here. I always take copies of all my information. We say photocopy, but take a picture on your phone and put it in the cloud, so you always have access to it if you really needed it, especially your passport, your Vax cards, anything that you think you might need if you lose it. I actually take pictures of the front and the back of my credit cards, and I put the heart. I have an iPhone, so I heart it and I put it in my favorites album. So if I were to lose my I don't usually carry a purse, but if I lost my card or something like that, I have the phone number, the international phone number to report the loss. It's all in my favorite album as a photo. So you guys should have some really great weather. People always wonder, what should you wear? So it's a very casual resort. I know that for the evenings, the ladies might wear like a sundress. David, nothing fancy, even a t-shirt with a pair of slacks is fine, or shorts. I don't think they have a restriction on shorts at the dinner table, but I know that our group and singles in general, we like to dress up a little bit. It's vacation, and even though it's not matchmaking or anything, you never know if you're going to meet somebody. So people do tend to dress a little nicer. It's not highly dressy, just kind of, what does it say, casual chic resort wear. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes. So Tammy, other than, I know you put in there, you could pay them to do laundry. Is there a laundromat close by?
No, that's the thing. So it's very expensive to do your laundry. So you guys are on an extended trip. You may want to do it in Italy if you find a laundromat. Otherwise, what I do is I just carry a tiny little, under 3 ounces, but a tiny little bottle of liquid detergent. You could bring powdered detergent in a Ziploc bag too. I like liquid though, because and then if it's something like, for 3 weeks trip, I'm not going to bring something for every day. So like my underwear.
I brought 21 pairs of underwear.
Okay, well, that's fine. You know what? And it's totally, there's nothing wrong with that. But
well, I did bring some detergent with me. I already packed. Yeah, I packed it.
Yeah. So
for that reason.
Way that Jules and I could leave one of our suitcases at the hotel before we fly over to Crete, because we're staying there before and after.
You can ask them that.
Yeah.
I would just ask the front desk if you're able to do that. And, tipping always speaks well. So if you grace somebody with a couple bucks, 10, 15 bucks, and ask them to keep it, but ask first and see what they say. So I don't know. They may not. I know that the Placa Hotel is tiny, so I don't know what their storage is like. I've actually been there, and it's a very small hotel, and so they may or may not have the space, but certainly ask.
Oh, I know what else I wanted to ask. I was a little confused at the dinners. Wine is included?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Wine's included.
Good.
Bring your bathing suit. There's a beach across the street, and so the resort is on a main street next to a gas station. A lot of people, when they pull up, I've been there several times with the groups, and they're like, oh my God, like I thought it was on the beach. It's not on the beach, it's across the street. And I assure you, by the time you're done at the end of the week, you won't even remember that, oh, we were, how you were talking about judging with the masks. Everybody judges everything, right? But once you have a week at this hotel, this resort, you're going to be so happy. And
they have beach access?
Yeah, and they do. So you walk across the street, and just bring like Tivas or Keens or something, because that beach, so there's black sand beach, pink sand beach. The one across the street is bouldery, like a typical European beach with the big rocks. So, or boulders, like pebbly boulders. That's two different words. I know I didn't, that wasn't very descriptive. Pebbly. So if you go and you're barefoot, it's not going to feel good. It's not
Do they
soft.
do they have a pool?
Yeah, they have two pools, they have
Okay.
jacuzzis, so you may not even leave the hotel. But you know, in the morning, I like to take a walk across the street to the beach. The other place right behind the hotel, and this is going to sound really weird, but they have a cemetery that was dedicated. So Crete was a main ally base. And so we had a base there, and the Germans attacked the Greeks on the island of Athens during World War II, and they fought back and they won. And so there was a lot of deaths of German soldiers. And there's a cemetery up behind the hotel. It's a nice walk up the hill, and the gardens are incredible. So one morning or two, to, you know, have some breakfast and walk up behind the hotel and look at the gardens, or walk across to the beach. So these are some things that you can do right from the hotel, and just, you know, get out and get some fresh air.
Can you walk to town or is it just too far? Like, do you have to take?
Oh, I mean, sure you could, but it's a few miles, and if it's really hot, there's a bus. It's just a couple euros, so
Okay.
you can pick it up right there. You also have options to get a taxi. They'll anything you need. Anya at the front desk is going to be your mom for the week, so she's there to take care of you. You just go to the front desk. You know, they have a water machine there, so if you have like a, you know, everybody brings their own water bottles these days, and you just fill them. So they have a machine to fill your water. Internet is free. You're going to get one towel for the week, but if you need another one, just tell her, just give her your old one and get a new one. So they hand that out at the beginning, but if you need a fresh one, you're able to do that. They're just amazing and caring and helpful, and they love their island. They're very proud of their heritage and everything about the island of Crete. And they're different than the rest of the Greek. They're Greek, but it's its own culture. They're on an island 400 miles south of Athens in the middle of the Mediterranean. So their culture is their culture. So let's talk about the currency. You know, cash is king in Greece. You guys remember what, 4 years ago, their reported monetary system was crashing. And so they prefer cash. So again, bring a Visa or a MasterCard. I would get a card that doesn't have international exchange fees, like the American Airlines Citibank one is a good one. I think there's several others out there. You can check with your company to see if they do have the fees. You may not have time to get one, but if you have cash, everybody accepts cash. And if you don't have cash, they're probably going to charge you at least a 1% fee, maybe 2%. So be prepared for that. My personal travel style, people ask me what you would do. I will take a Visa or a MasterCard. I take my debit card, and then I start with 300 in cash. So that way I have 300 in cash. I can exchange it to euros when I get there. I never do it in advance because I'm too busy. If you want to go to your bank and get euros in advance, you're welcome to do that. Well, some people are super prepared and that's what they want to do. I wait till I get to the Athens airport, and that's where I exchange my money. And then if I need more while I'm there, I just use my ATM card and I draw more out. But I usually use my credit card if I'm able and I don't have to actually pay that fee. So your spending would be based on your personal style, right? So if you're a big shopper, then you might need more than that. And so I would just use that as a gauge, but bring some kind of tool like a debit card or something that if you need to access more money, you have that ability. Any questions about that? Okay. Electrical current is in Europe, so it is different. Here in the United States, we have the two flat prongs. In Europe, they have two round prongs. And then the killer part is that here in the USA, we have 110. Our voltage is 110. So in Europe, it's 240. So if you plug anything in, so you have two devices. There's a converter and an adapter. The adapter only allows you to plug in something with the two flat prongs into the two round holes. So that's going to be an adapter, right? You're adapting your device. The converter is converting the electrical current. So make sure that you get a device that has, that is, there are many devices out there that are both. And a lot of them are multi-country, so you can buy one this time and then you'll have one for other travels in the future, because we hope you have a great time and you want to come back and do more. And so there are many newfangled ones right now that are converters, so they're going to convert your electricity and they're going to give you the ability to adapt. So we have a link here in the letter that shows you what it looks like, and some what I just explained to you in, in paragraph form here. So just make sure that you be mindful that you have to convert your electricity. They're not going to probably have converters at the hotel, and they're going to be required everywhere you go, in the Mistral and at the Placa Hotel. So make sure you have that. Otherwise, you won't be able to use your devices. Now, iPhones, some places have a USB. So you can bring your iPhone or your, I don't know about all the phones and all the different versions, but a lot of the laptops and the cell phones already step down with their chargers from the 240 to the 120. So you can find that out by checking with your provider. And again, if you have a USB cord, bring that, because some hotels do have USB charging available. That's a great question. I'm going to ask the guys at the Mistral. I don't know if they do. I'm thinking not. Any questions about the electrical?
Well, I've used 240 on my laptop and it was okay.
Yeah.
I've used, but I mean, something like what I read about it is if you've got like a hair curler or something like that, that'll
Right.
burn it right out.
Exactly.
Or a razor, or electric razor. But I
Yeah.
haven't had any trouble. I mean, I don't have it. I didn't buy the converter. I have, but I don't have any like hair. I don't have anything that's gonna heat up or anything like that. So I didn't have any trouble with it. I'm
You're
using it.
good. So on
Yeah,
a
no,
laptop, a lot of them, you know how you have this kind of a, I don't know, can you guys see this? I'm using this from another laptop. You see this box that goes, you know how when you have a plug on your laptop, there's two pieces to it. So this middle piece is where it steps it down. It's already designed to convert that. So that's what David's talking about. So you may not need it, like I said, for phones and laptops, for hair dryers, curling irons, razors, anything else you're going to need to be able to convert. And you need the adapter because your flat prongs are not going to fit in the two round holes in the wall.
I got a whole kit when I went to Russia 10 years ago, and I've used it ever since.
Yeah, it's the best. Then that way you're always prepared. Any other questions about electrical? Okay.
I had a question about the bank, about converting money. When you convert money at the airport, they kind of gouge you. So are there any banks near where we're going to be staying or anything like that?
Yeah, so here,
Um,
yeah, so this is, again, me, I'm always, my time is money, right? So to change $300, if it's 4% on 300, it's it's $1.20. So for me to do it at the airport, that's convenient. Then you have to get to town, and by the way, in Greece and a lot of the European countries, their banks are only open a couple of hours a day, not like here, right, where we have ATMs and all this stuff. Like, these are still like old world people, so their bank might be open from 9 to 12, then they don't open again till like 3 o'clock, and they're open from 3 to 5. So it's your vacation, you have 7 days. And anyway, that's just my advice, to go to find a bank. You'd have to go into town, and you'd have to go during their opening hours, and bring your passport with you, because you have to show that in order to change the money. So if you feel like that hour of time that you're taking to go do all that for an exchange on a very small amount of money, I don't think it's worth your vacation time.
Well, 4% of, yeah, just to correct you, 4% of 300 is $12. But-
Yeah, it's just a couple of dollars, you know, so
Yeah, all right.
you
Is
can
that what it
wait.
is? Yeah, okay.
But people,
I'll
that's a
do it.
great question, David, and everybody asks it, and I just like to give it a little bit of perspective for people. If you were spending, gonna change, you're gonna buy like a very expensive item and you're changing like $10,000, then yeah, you would definitely be interested in finding the best rate that you could. Some countries don't even vacillate. In some countries, whether you go to the bank, where was I? I was just in Turkey. Oh, in Turkey, the banks actually charge more than the
Oh, really?
exchange banks. Yeah. So, and the other thing about travel is if you've traveled a lot, some things. If you're kind of a new traveler, I'm not saying that anybody here is, but there's a lot of stressors, right? So my job is to try to relieve you of some stressors, and any way that I can do that. And the money is one of them. Like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get the money? Where am I going to go? What if I get cheated? That's a big deal. Nobody wants to get cheated, right? Is the taxi driver going to know where to take me? Is he going to overcharge me? So there's a lot of anxiety around a lot of these things. And so that's just my goal, is to try to reduce that anxiety. And so, yes, you're able to go to the bank. Anya at the front desk would be able to help you
It's
with that.
21 hours.
And so you can depend on her, but at least get 100 at the airport, right? Just in case you have an emergency, and then you could change money later if you want.
Yeah.
And I do like try to play the game. That's why I only do the 3. Whatever I think I might spend is what I exchange, because I don't want to give it back at the end, because then you have to pay again. I spend all my money. I spend it. Whatever I haven't spent, I spend at the airport. Like, I think last time I had 50 euros left. So I bought a couple little things. I had lunch, got on the plane. I had no euros left. So that's just me just giving you my suggestions. Sometimes people ask what I do. So I hope that's helpful. And what's not included in the package is listed here. So other than your wine with dinner, any of your drinks, they have a beautiful little palapa bar there. And that's where everybody really congregates every night. My experience was people didn't leave the hotel, because, I mean, you're at a hotel with 30 single people. It's pretty cool. And so you meet new people, you have a good time, you walk to your room when you're done. It was very convenient. There's a pool there, there's a jacuzzis. And so, I would definitely enjoy that. There's spa services, because they do have a spa now. And, any expenses on your tours are at your own expense. And again, cash, I do believe that they ask for cash for the excursions, guys. So
I'm
maybe,
not gonna bring that much cash with me for those excursions. But the other
yeah,
ones,
yeah. So I think, I mean, they'll let you know if there might be some excursions that are going to be cash only. So again, you have your ATM cards. You can go get your cash out if you need cash. On a rare occasion, they would add it to your bill, and then they're going to charge you the 1 or the 2%. But I'm very sure they like to do cash. So be prepared with some. And then again, we talked about respecting, right? So this very last paragraph just has to do with, guys, you're with people from all over the world. Everybody's different. Go have fun, get along, and enjoy your trip, and be courteous, and just be open-minded, because you're visiting a new culture. They're going to look at the world differently. And you're coming from a place that's different. So be open-eyed and listen and learn and meet people, and just have a good time, and come home with great experience. So at the end, we're going to send you a survey the morning of. We would love to get your feedback. And if you fill out your survey within 7 days, we give you a $25 credit on your next trip. And if you refer somebody, we give you a credit for that. And we have the premium membership, which many of you, I think, are already members. So, we hope to have you back again, and you can check out our calendar for 22 and 23. And if you have ideas for the future, let us know. So with that, I'm going to turn off the recording. I'm going to say thanks for joining me here tonight. And we look forward to having everybody with us again in the future. And if you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for joining. We look forward to meeting you in person someday soon.